Yo, Brito, how's it going, man?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a minute.
I know, man. It's been a couple years, actually.
Yeah, it has. How's
Yeah,
life?
it's good, man. It's good. All things considered, I can't complain too much.
I got it, man. You have my dream job, dude. I'm
Mine
I'm,
too.
I'm
Mine too.
telling you. What's it
Yeah.
like, bro? Working at I mean, you've been at Nike for how long now? 2, 3 years?
It'll be 3 years next month.
I mean, what's it like?
I mean, it's just how you described it, man. It truly is a dream job. I think that term gets tossed around a lot. I think I used that same description when I was at Twitter, right? Because I love Twitter. It's like, this is my
Yeah,
dream job. In reality, that was probably a job at one of my dream companies. Whereas
yeah,
what I do right now, I think every bullet point on my job description is things that I used to dream about doing. I mean, of course, there's going to be parts of a job where that's just a job, but I think
yeah.
it's as close as I can get at this point in my life, to what my dream job is. I'm sure that'll evolve, but right now, like that, it's hitting every mark.
Hey, man, before I forget, are you open one of either next Wednesday or the Wednesday after that
Mhm.
to maybe spend 15, 20 minutes on a Wednesday night talking to my class?
Yeah, of course. You still doing San Jose State? Where are you at
Dude,
now?
for sure, man. San
I
Jose
wasn't
State.
sure, mate. I wasn't sure they have you at Harvard now or something. You
No,
know,
I turned down Oxford, man. I couldn't make the commute. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. I mean, also, yeah, you gotta stay true to the roots too,
To the
man.
408. You know what I mean?
SJSU got some brilliant minds there. So yeah, man, I'm all in for that.
Yeah, we So I've been. You were my first class. Was it 2011, right? And
2012,
that's right, 2012. And
spring 2012. Yep.
spring, yeah. And I got to tell you, man. I've never told you this, but like I model you as someone who has been successful, not just coming through my class for sure, but just your level of integrity and just the drive that you had and your charisma. And I remember telling you back in the day, like I can see myself working for you one day. You have that drive, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I tell all my students, even up until like 6 or 7 years ago, I'd be like, does anybody know Marco Negrete? And there'd be like a few people who'd be like, yeah, I heard of him. And now nobody knows who you are, right? Because
Oh
you're way
man,
out of the
I'm getting
ecosystem.
old. Yeah, for
Yeah, you
sure.
are. But I've always had a high respect for you because you had a goal, you had a dream, you did it. You went to New York for a minute, and you were writing for
Mhm.
that magazine, and now you're at Nike, and are you still working with Mitch?
Mitch moved on. He took a massive role at Nike, but in New York. So
Okay.
he's the head of Nike, basically head of Nike comms and PR in New York, like spokesperson level. Like
Oh wow.
really, it's probably one of the best and biggest Nike comms jobs you can get, and because it's New York, of course, like that market.
Yeah.
So he's been gone for like a year and a half, crushing
What?
it out there. And I'm still working for Jordan on a different team now than I was with him, but still, I'm still kind of there, just doing Jordan stuff. And he moved on to Nike, and Nike's a little bit of the big brother of Jordan. So
Yeah.
if you're most people I think who work for Jordan eventually move on to Nike as a stepping stone. I mean, that is his job right now is incredible. So yeah, he's been there for like a year and a half, but I worked probably for a year and a half with him. It was a good times, man.
Yeah. He used to work for me back in the day, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. He told me it
And
was so funny when we made that connection. It was like my few weeks into work, and because he had some Bay Area roots as well, and then we got to talking, and it was so funny when we figured that out. Because
I
I didn't know that when we interviewed, right? Like we didn't talk about any mutual friends or anything.
Yeah, well, he pinged me about you, bro. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh,
So
I didn't
as
know.
as you were going through the process, he's like, "Hey, this
Oh,
dude
okay,
Marco Negretti went to San Jose State." I'm like, "Bro, you got to hire him." So
nice.
and I did the same thing for him. Like when he was, I can't remember where he went to. Oh, he was at Fleischman, and
Yep.
he's like, "Hey, dude, I got this interview at Nike." He's like, "Will you be my referral or reference?" And I'm like, "Absolutely."
Hmm.
So I was talking to the recruiter, calls me. I'm like, he's amazing. You got to hire him. I mean, he loves sports. He was at,
Yeah, yeah,
worked for the Kings for a minute. And I'm like, by the way, do you have any other positions open?
yeah, man.
No, I'm
It's a
joking.
it's a fun spot. It's a fun spot, man.
No wonder why he doesn't call me back or email me back. He's big time now.
Yeah, he. I
So
mean, I don't know the full description. I just know that he's the head of Nike spokespeople and comms when it comes to New York, which is the biggest media market. So it's a
yeah,
pretty big role.
So are you suffering right now just with no sports, no NBA?
Man, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, work has been keeping me busy. But yeah, it sucks, man. I mean, I can see your hats in the background. This is our year, man. Like it really was. Like
Mm.
any other year, even last year, like not that that's important, but it would have been like, oh, okay, cool. Well, like it was a throwaway year for us anyway. Because you're a Laker fan, there's only two types of years: championships and throwaway years. Like
Yep, yep, yep.
I don't care if we make it to Game 7 of the finals. That's a throwaway year if we don't win it. So the last decade have been kind of like, all right, well, we can live without this playoff run, and now I'm just like, we were that close, man. I felt it. Like you just feel it as
Yeah.
a Laker fan, like this is going to be the year. And but it'll come back eventually. There's bigger issues right now, but it's tough, man. It's tough without it.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious with, just how it's gonna. I don't think the NBA announced how it's gonna work next season, or if this, because I heard a rumor that you probably know, and maybe you can't tell me, but I heard a rumor that if the playoffs were to start, if they were to delay it, that whatever seeds there are now in in the East and the West, that would be like the playoff seed in terms of like their record. So I think we would play the Timberwolves. Or I think I
Yeah,
can't
we would
remember
have
who it
been the
was.
one seed, right?
Yeah, we would have won.
Yeah. I mean, we even just that last weekend, we were coming off of a win of the Bucks and the Clippers, and I think we went and lost to like Sacramento or something. But who cares about that loss? Like those two wins were massive
I
statement
know, I
games.
know. So man,
Yeah.
2020 has been a tough year, dude. I don't know, Kobe passed, and it's funny because back in the day, man, like when Michael Jackson died, when Whitney Houston died, when Prince died. I mean, these are all people that I kind of grew up with and knew,
Hmm.
but I wasn't like affected. I mean, I was like bummed for like a second, then I just moved on. And I used to
Yeah.
remember when I would see other people who were just way dramatic about it, and I'd be like, it's just a celebrity, and that's part of the reason why they're gone is because they put it on themselves. In many cases, not a great way to think about it. But then the morning when my wife came in and I was just got done working out and my phone blew up. I got like 85 texts, and I'm just like, oh, what?
Sheesh.
So I thought it was like fake news. I mean, that's the first thing.
Oh, cool. I was hoping for that.
Oh, dude. And then my wife comes out, and my wife, she is in tears, and she comes out into the
Yeah.
garage. And then I look down, and so went into the living room, and I was legitimately depressed. And even now, like, man, it's like, I feel like something's missing. And, he's just a player, and he didn't always make the best off the court decisions. And, but man, now that you see into what he's done after he retired, and even as a dad, man, he was a great person, the best athlete, but a great person too. And
The
I'm
stories
still
have come
affected
out
by it.
since then, and I consider myself to be a massive fan and read every article, read every interview. But we used to hear all these things that never out because he didn't publicize them. And it was just like, but every time I read a new one, it just breaks my heart all over again, man, because it's just like we lost more than just a basketball player.
Yeah. There was one story that came out. It was a Bleacher Report just actually a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
Apparently he'd met this young kid, and the kid's mom or grandmother had cancer. And I guess he had asked Kobe to record her a video. So the kid is like, looking at the video, and Kobe's behind him, and Kobe talks to the grandmother, for
Hmm.
maybe, 45 seconds to 2 minutes. And it's just like, spreading words of encouragement and saying what a great grandson she has. And I'm just like, you don't see athletes doing that. And, funny story, I'm a huge LeBron fan too. And I remember you and I went back and forth when LeBron first got signed.
Hmm.
But I look at LeBron differently now, man. For some reason, I feel like he doesn't compare. Like, as much as I think LeBron is great, I don't think he can ever fill that gap.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
don't
the
think he
same person.
will. I think it's a personality thing. I think LeBron is unrivaled when it comes to maybe of our generation, at least the biggest sports figure who also kind of put his money and his influence where his mouth was when it came to influencing off the court, philanthropy, things like that. But I think that's admirable, and I love him for that. But I think guys like MJ and Kobe, that's not what people wanted or looked to from them. It's also a different time, right? We're in an
Yeah,
age of social responsibility and social media where everything's amplified. But it's just like you used to want that killer instinct that those guys had.
yeah,
And and I'm not saying that LeBron isn't clutch or any of that, but I'm just saying like it was more of a personality that I think drew us to Kobe and MJ. Like,
yeah,
LeBron doesn't have, and that's no fault of him. He's
yeah,
the best basketball player on the planet, but it's different, right? It's not really comparable. But I know what you're saying. It's a little bit
yeah.
different.
Well, hey, dude, thanks for chatting up with me. I've been doing these just one-off kind of Zoom calls with, close friends, people that I admire, people. I just did one with my sister the other day, which I'll publish next week. And, I honestly don't know where this is going. I just felt like, I'm cooped up in my room my home. And, I miss, as an extrovert, I miss the interaction and communicating with people in person. And so this is kind of the next big thing. And it's kind of opened my eyes to be a little bit more proactive in how I reach out to people like yourself, like somebody who, again, you were my student, but I admire your career. I look at your career path and I'm like, that is the model student, right? And I give every class, I mention your name. And, I don't know if you ever get, your in your head, you get like your ears tingle, if you will. But, I'm proud of you, man. You've done phenomenal, bro. And I'm really excited to see where we're going to go next. So before we hang up, because I know that you're busy, I'm busy. It's Friday, 4:00. What is
the days are all blending together at this
I know.
point.
Is it Friday? Is it Friday?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a Friday.
I know. What do you love best about your job, man? I mean, and what do you, so you started off in comms, and are you still in comms? And what exactly are you doing? Just let me know.
I work on an editorial team now. So basically, storytelling is what I've always wanted to do, especially for something that I'm passionate about. So I just do full-time editorial storytelling right now. Oftentimes, trying to just come up with the best ways to tell our stories. There's unlimited amounts, but what's the best way? But also keeping in mind that this is a business too. You just can't be telling the coolest stories. There always has to be a business angle in mind. Not always, but it's important to realize that we still have products to move. So yeah, man, I'm just like, I kind of view it as if I'm running an in-house magazine, where we're sort of like an editor-in-chief role. That's the way that I approach it, where, hey, I need to come up with the best ideas. And then I write a lot of them myself. And if I think there's a better voice out there for me, I'll hire some of my friends or people I don't know that I think could tell that story in a really unique and powerful way. And then we'll hire freelance writers, we'll hire freelance designers, we'll hire freelance photographers to tell stories through their lens. But yeah, I would look at it in the way of a kind of a traditional media outlet where we have an editorial team. We have a group of stories and products that we need to storytell around. And then what's the best way to do that? And then who's the best talent to do that? Is it us or is it somebody else? And we bring those people in. So it's similar to kind of like, I think when I was working at Complex magazine, it's a lot of that same approach. Yeah.
Have you met Jordan yet?
I've had a couple of opportunities where we've been around him and I've got to meet him. Yeah, man, it's just it sounds so weird to talk about another person like this, but it's almost like a surreal feeling, right? It doesn't feels like he's just on a different level than everybody else. He just has this aura around him. It was really cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna stop recording just in a second, so don't hang up. So just give me 1 second. So hey, thanks again, brother.
Yeah, of course.
Again, I'm glad to see that you're being successful. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do next, man. I really can't. So give me 1 sec.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.